Let me start you off with Davante Adams. There's been a lot of speculation about him this week, potentially getting traded to the Jets. I saw the agents of Davante Adams just sent a message to Adam Schefter that said this is baseless, unfounded speculation, and Davante is expected to be with the Raiders as there has been absolutely no trade talks, period. What do you make of this statement from Davante Adams' agents, and do you think this maybe puts a stop on all this speculation for now?
Well, listen, who knows what's ever going to happen, right? But I think at the end of the day, Davante Adams, he wants to win, and he hasn't been able to do that in Las Vegas with Aiden O'Connell. And moving forward, we know the best version of Davante Adams we've seen was when Aaron Rodgers was throwing him the football. So if you're the New York Jets and this year has to be all in, and that's been kind of the mantra thus far going into the start of the season, you have to imagine by maybe late August or sometime during this September, this may be a legit possibility that Davante Adams will be lining up and playing for the New York Jets. However, if you are Antonio Pierce, you hate it, right? You hate it because it's the distraction going into training camp. You don't need to hear this, and you especially don't want this type of headline circling around your star player, especially when you have a young nucleus in which they have in Las Vegas. So it's a situation where this is just going to have to play out. I think the temperament of Davante Adams means a lot. How he approaches the game, how he walks on the field, if he, how friendly and kind is he talks to the media. Everything's gonna be under one big microscope. So we'll see. But I think right now, if his agent saying there's nothing to be seen here, that it's all mush, then we just have to perceive it as that.
In terms of compensation for Davante Adams, would you give up the Jets a first-round pick in the 2025 draft if that seals the deal to get Davante Adams?
Well, listen, I think it goes back to what Aaron Rodgers said in the offseason. And he pretty much said, hey, if we don't win, this whole thing is over. And so if that's the case, then you may have to entertain that, because Woody, from all reports, Woody was pissed off. Once Aaron Rodgers went down and Zach Wilson wasn't up to par, or he wasn't competent enough to lead that offense, that thing fell apart, and there was a lot of weight put on that defense to at least stay afloat or win games for the New York Jets. They were 7-10 last year. You can't tell me with a healthy Aaron Rodgers that thing is flipped around. They may be looking at 10-7 or maybe more. So I think right now that organization, I think everybody's looking around themselves in that building like, man, it's either do or die. There is no more if. We either get it done or this thing is over.
I'll also be fascinated to see, because not only is it the Davante Adams speculation, I think he'll be on the Raiders by week 1, but today Brandon Ayuk demands a trade, and the Niners are like, oh, we don't have an intention to trade for him. I'll be fascinated to see if the Jets maybe give a call to the 49ers and see if they get a deal done there.
Yeah, that whole Brandon Ayuk situation, they don't have to do anything. Right? That's what that's what people have to understand. Yeah, he may want to go, and listen, I'm a big fan of Brandon Ayuk. I love him. I love him in San Francisco. He hasn't gone anywhere. But from a business standpoint, the Niners just sit still. He can't do anything. So he can pound on the door all he wants and be as frustrated as he wants, and he can talk about Jaden Daniels and how much they had great times at Arizona State. The bottom line is Brandon Ayuk will be playing for the San Francisco 49ers until they feel like they make a move that suits them best. But right now, it is what it is.
I think it's a great point that you bring up, and I think it's more powerful when a player says it compared to like what I say, because I did say, hey, the Niners could get a little dirty here and play, put their hands in the mud with Brandon Ayuk. It's almost now, because we're in this player empowerment era, Willie Colon. A player says he wants to get traded, and instantly everyone's like, oh, it's done. You got to trade him. The 49ers would be crazy, I think, to trade him right now.
Yeah, listen, you have Brock Purdy. They have a core with Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle and offensive line. They've been competing and fighting for Super Bowls for the last 4 or 5 years. They're not going to break that up because of one disgruntled receiver, right? Like let's be honest with it. Brock Purdy is a damn good quarterback, and he's a damn good quarterback that proved last year that he can win games, uncanny or on time. No matter what you say about Brock Purdy, he can win games. But he won those games with Brandon Ayuk. And I understand his numbers speak for themselves. And does he warrant the bag, and does he deserve the bag? 100%. I would never put my hands in another man's pocket. But the business is the business. He's tied. His hands are tied in this regard. And the Niners would be like, hey, man, it's about Niner football. And right now we're the best operation in the NFL when you're on the field playing with us. And that's how they feel.
Willie Colon here with us. Obviously, getting back to the Jets, it's easier when you have the quarterback. But when you get to the head coach with Robert Saleh going into a massive year for him, with him clearly being on the hot seat, where's your confidence in the coaching abilities of Robert Saleh as a head coach?
I love Robert Saleh. I do. I'm a big fan of him. I'm a big fan of Joe Douglas. What happened last year was they got caught with the pants down. They didn't expect Aaron Rodgers to go down after 4 snaps. And it goes back to my earlier point. They also expected Zach Wilson to be a lot better. He didn't mask the deficiencies on offense. So with that said, you're looking at an offensive line that they did repair, but comes with an asterisk, right? You're talking about Tyron Smith. He's been in and out of the lineup.
Can they stay healthy? It's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's it. And right now, with everything that's it's all chips in the middle of the table, football's going to happen. Guys are going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. But when it's not about the ifs, but when it does happen, whatever happens can't derail the season. It's going to Robert Saleh and company are going to have to figure out whatever happens along the way, where there's guys in and out of lineup, the offense maybe not producing or firing out. They still have to win football games, and they have to do it at a high level because they have to get to the playoffs. There is no not making the playoffs for the New York Jets this year. They have to get to the playoffs. They have everything. They have the star power. They finally have their quarterback. Now it's time to go win and get it done. So for me, Robert Saleh, I'm not going to say he's on the hot seat, but it's steamy in there. It's mighty steamy. And so I think he knows it. And I think he understands that he's out of excuses. I think Jets fans are tired of hearing excuses. They're tired of everything that comes along with being a Jets fan. I think Jets fans are exhausted. They just want a winning outfit. They want to see winning football coming from New York wearing the green and white. So with all that said, I have a lot of I think Robert Saleh, he was brought to New York to change the defense. He did that. You talk about the superstar power they have with Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, CJ Mosley, Quentin Williams. Now they have Hassan Reddick. So they have guys that can go. Now it's about winning and getting it done and being where they need to be in the postseason.
I know it's not about individual awards, but I look at Rodgers. I expected to win Comeback Player of the Year this season. Coming off the Achilles, though, the age factor as well. I know you expect the Jets to win, but what do you think we'll see out of Rodgers this year? Because we all know how high of a standard we hold him to.
Listen, is Aaron Rodgers somewhat eccentric? Sure. But is he a damn good football player? Probably one of the best to ever do it at the quarterback position? 100%. So what I expect is to see Aaron Rodgers put on the cape in the Meadowlands and then playing high-octane football. And if he's able to do it with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and hopefully a healthy offensive line, I can see them being a top 10 offense in this league. That's just real. Now you're talking about Tyler Conklin at the tight end position. You're talking about legit weapons. You talk about what we were able to do in the draft. So, yeah, I expect them to be Aaron Rodgers as we've known and grown and seen from him every Sunday. Winning games, putting the team on his back and getting it done. That's what I expect.
When you look at the ceiling for this team, how far are you willing to go? Like AFC East champs, AFC championship game in the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, how far are you willing to go with your confidence with this squad?
For me, it goes back to what I said earlier. How do you manage the season? Things happen in the season that you just can't account for. But good coaches and good outfits know how to overcome them. Even with injuries or whatever, you know how to get through and win games. Can they stay on par with the elites of the league? When you see what Kansas City wasn't great last year, but they figured it out and they got it done. There's certain outfits, man, and I mean outfits in regards to teams. They don't fall off the cliff. They kind of hold on. They guys step up. They understand what they need to do on Sunday, and they win football games. I expect the Jets to win a lot of football games this season with Aaron Rodgers at the helm and just be consistent. So for me, it's just a matter of them getting to the AFC Championship. I can see them getting to the AFC Championship. After that, we'll see what happens. But as of right now, if I'm looking at them on paper, they look like a team that should be competing for AFC Championship.
Before we let you run, Willie Colon, inside the AFC East, how would you, because the Patriots are right now at the floor, they're at the bottom, being fourth. How would you rank 1, 2, and 3, Bills, Dolphins, and Jets?
As of right now, for me, it's Jets, Bills, Dolphins, Pats, right there.
Why do you put the Jets above the Bills, just 1 through?
Because of Aaron Rodgers, our defense. I think this team right now understands there's a sense of heightened urgency. This is a ball club that's been through it all and seen it all. And, one of the tough things about covering the Jets every Sunday is watching their star players and especially in the post meetings, interviews, excuse me. You can start to see the fire slip out of those guys' eyes, right? They're fighting, they're crawling, they're starting to realize there are some things just bigger than what we could do on the field. It takes a team. Football is a team sport. Like it takes every guy in the helmet to put in and do their due diligence and give it all they got. And I was sitting there watching Garrett Wilson, sometimes speechless.
Yeah.
I was sitting there watching sometimes Breece Hall frustrated. Why am I not getting the ball? I'm obviously that guy. Give me the ball. I was sitting there watching Quentin Williams being the ultimate businessman, really trying to rally his guys and say the right things after tough losses, knowing damn well they should have won that game. I remember seeing Sauce Gardner, kind of looking like a deer in headlights, like not knowing what to say. And I've been a part of that, Zach. I was on a 4-12 Jets team. In Valley, we didn't have nearly as great a talent that this team has, but we were all veteran, battle-hungry guys, really scrapping and crawling, trying to figure out why we can't get one win on Sunday. And that when that fire starts to dampen and you're in the car with your family, man, and everybody's quiet and everybody's like, well, baby, you did your job. Well, I get paid to do my job, but I also get paid to win, And so those guys, you can start to see that's when it's like, man, is it ever going to happen? Because those guys come from winning institutions, right? They brought into New York to be the difference, and they are the difference, and they're still not winning, so it doesn't add up for them.
Yeah, go ahead.
So with all that said, man, I really want those guys to win because football is a lot better, a lot funner. I don't know if fun is a word, but I'm just saying
today it is.
It's a damn good time to be alive when you win in football on Sunday.
Last thing I'll ask you, Willie Colon. We know if they don't make the playoffs, the coach is gone. If they go 8-9 or even 9-8 and miss the postseason, do you think that's it for Rodgers? You think he walks away?
Can't say that. I honestly don't know. But you're talking about a 41-year-old man, because I think he turns 41 in December, and he'll be coming off an Achilles. At that point, you would have to think from a business mind, just me just talking, you may have to reset the whole situation.
He is Willie Colon. Willie, appreciate it. Keep on crushing it at SNY and also the Cardin Show. We appreciate you doing this.
I appreciate you, Zach. Thanks, baby.